Brenton, there's an old saying about 15 minutes of fame, and you basically had 15 minutes of good football and got the front and then lost it.
Yeah, we almost pinched it, but I think everybody would agree that Richmond were the better side tonight. They played the better footy over 4 quarters, but you know, I've been involved in plenty of games when you've been able to, you know, pinch a win like that, and full of character tonight, our boys, I thought, because they didn't play well, but they were able to still have the belief that they could win the game. Unfortunately, though, when we did hit the front, we weren't able to have the poise required or the ability to actually just go ahead and win by 6 points, or even kick another goal and win by 10 or 12 points. So, yeah, we have to still keep teaching those moments in games when you hit the front, close game. I think it's the 5th game this year we've lost by 2 goals. So we need to get better at those close ones, the ability to be calm and poised and get a few mark chains and just kill the game once you hit the front. But we sort of became a bit rushed, it felt, when we did hit the front.
It feels disappointing, that performance and that result, given you played so wonderfully well against Brisbane last week.
Yeah, really disappointing for the result. We've still got a long way to go with learning how to handle those situations. So Richmond were the better team tonight. They jumped us out of the blocks. It's happening too many times this year where we give up a start, and we couldn't touch the ball for the first 15 minutes of the game. And it always felt like we were sort of that 3 goals behind, 18 points behind, 20 points behind. But to the players' credit, they really dug in that last quarter. It's almost like we played our best footy when we felt like we couldn't win, you know, and that's probably a common theme through the whole AFL this year. You know, a lot of clubs have played better when they've sort of thrown caution to the wind. But our attack was better in the last quarter, and then defensively we let ourselves down with some poor plays late in the game.
Is that just indicative of the inexperience in the group, do you think?
Yes and no. That's not an excuse, though. You pick 22 players who you expect are going to win, who you pick, and you're confident that they're going to get the result for you. So, as I said, though, we'll just keep teaching. There's still plenty to learn for this group. And the more you put players in these situations, the better they become at them. And it does take time. But there's a very, unfortunately, a very shattered group in there at the moment. You know, I've told them to lift their heads, you know, walk out of the change rooms tonight with plenty of fight left in them, because we've still got 2 games to go this season and anything can happen. And that starts with trying to put our best performance up against North Melbourne in Tasmania next Saturday.
So you're obviously pretty... You've talked about a lot this season is the way you move the ball inside 50. And again, tonight for 3 quarters, you didn't seem to do that very well. Was that your biggest concern? Yeah, it was one of them. Our attack's been pretty good this year. I mean, going into this round, we were the 3rd best attacking team. You know, for points 4, we've kicked the biggest, 3rd highest score this year. So a lot of parts of our attack actually work pretty well. But I think we sometimes take too much risk with the footy, that we open ourselves up defensively. Richmond tonight had, in those conditions, had 62 inside 50s. Good defensive sides don't allow other teams to get the ball inside 50 that often. So we did put our defenders under too much pressure tonight, and in the end, we just couldn't handle it for long enough.
Is the roller coaster ride doing your head in? Like, how frustrated
Yes.
are you by it all?
Yes, it is, very much so. But it's and our fans too, I'm sure. It's just been a frustrating season for that. For our best footy is just so attractive to watch and so enjoyable to play in and coach, but we're not doing it consistently enough in games. We saw a flash of it tonight in the last quarter. Even our second quarter, we kicked 2 goals 7 in the second quarter, so we were hitting the scoreboard but not converting goals. But this is a good side. Richmond, you know, they've won 6 in a row, probably the hottest team in the comp coming over here, and we knew we'd be up for a really strong fight tonight. So I'm disappointed that to hit the front, or to not start well, get back into the game in the last quarter and then hit the front and not go on with it, that's what I'm really upset about. And I'm sure we'll go back and it'll be even harder to watch in the review later tonight and tomorrow.
Speaking of reviews, Brenton, are you flabbergasted that
something that doesn't look obvious on our television screens that becomes called so clearly by a review umpire?
Yeah, I'm going to have a good look at it because, like I guess everyone here at the ground, goal scored back to the middle and then reviewed. I know that the AFL do that, which is fine, but I probably can't comment yet because I haven't had a chance to really work out. Did they hit the post or touched off the boot? Okay, yeah, I'll have
but
to...
even the Richmond players are saying they didn't see it hit the post, so
okay.
if they're on the ground not seeing it, how can...
Yeah.
Well,
so I probably can't comment and I won't comment, but I know that the AFL are working hard to ensure we're getting a system that's efficient and effective, and it's probably one for the AFL to have a look at, and not one for me to comment on at this stage.
What do you reckon your players learn about playing in the wet?
We weren't clean, were we? We didn't handle the conditions well. Not that we fumbled, but it was always like double takes, or it was leaving the ball behind, went to ground too easy. Richmond were a lot classier than us around the contest, so they were sharper, cleaner. They were able to spread with better method than us.
You gave them far too much space, didn't you, when you gave it cut out?
Off the top of my head, I think handball receives were 120 to 50 something. So they were much better around the ball. As I said, we probably panicked with the ball a bit too much tonight with the conditions. They handled the conditions a bit better than us.
The Martin push on Henderson late, did you see that as being a free kick? Or
no, I'm too far from it. But I had a quick look at the screen. Yeah, I don't know. I know we had more free kicks for us tonight. So over the night we had more free kicks paid. That's probably one isolated one, but... it's amazing. Those last couple of minutes of the game, I mean, I was on the edge of my seat as the coach, where I just, those last 4 or 5 minutes there, the game could have gone either way. We scored the first 4 goals of the last quarter, they scored the last 2, but it was a real nail-biter and a fantastic game to watch, I'm sure, from an excitement point of view, but so disappointing for us to drop that, There's too many times this year we've just had a chance right in front of us to just grab it, and once again tonight we failed to do so.
And it is a notable observation about the AFL this year that when teams seem to be out of the hunt or out of the race, they come back like Richmond have.
Yeah.
Is this what separates these sides that are in the 7th to 12th spot to those that are 1 and 4, and that regardless of what the table says, what the scoreboard says, the hardened teams keep working?
Yeah, it's a fair point.
They don't worry about the pressure on the game until...
Yeah, I mean, probably really, I guess, really simplistically, the top 4 are able to play their best footy for longer in games, for longer in the season. The sides sort of from 5th to 12th, as you said, probably are still looking for consistency. As we said earlier in the press conference, it's really frustrating, and we're working on it. We're spending hours and hours teaching our players, reviewing the game, putting them in match simulation drills to try and replicate what we saw tonight. But the more that they're in those opportunities in games, the more they're going to learn. But yeah, it's really disappointing.
Because the issue of a hardened mindset comes with long-term success.
Yeah, it's a good observation. It probably is certainly a part of it. It's the ability to be able to execute at critical times. That's what the good sides do consistently well, and the sides out of the top 4 are probably learning how to do.
Is this going to be a lucky loser series between 7 and 12? Because everyone's tripping over each other, so... Yeah.
I hope not. I mean, if you make the 8, you deserve to be there. It's as simple as that. If you win enough games and you're in the 8, you deserve to be there. And then, having been involved in footy for 25 years, that's the start of a new season. So our objective, every club, firstly, make the 8. If you're good enough to make the top 4, that's a bonus. But make the 8 and then you've got a fresh season. So for us, our objective tonight is learn from the mistakes we made tonight and make sure they don't happen again. And we've got a great opportunity. North Melbourne are a great side. They've had a fantastic season. They're going to be hard to beat in Tasmania next Saturday, and that's our season. That's how exciting it is, and that's how, I guess, real the situation is for us.
How are you going to judge your defenders? I mean, everyone looks at it and sees the mistakes that were made, but they're all pretty raw. They haven't been played regularly in that back six. So how should we judge them?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, we give up too many inside 50s, so we put our defenders under too much pressure. We don't typically play with a number behind the ball as much as what some clubs do, who like to protect their backs. But those guys are learning fast. They're on a steep learning curve. Most of those boys back there have had fantastic seasons. We've lost a couple with injury along the way. Some guys have been thrown in the deep end a little bit. But, yeah, disappointing. We lost a couple today again with injury, and we'll get back, have a test of our depth again next week, and we'll pick a 22 that's fresh and fit and hopefully get the points next week.
Your focus on development and learning and stuff like that. Is this playing group as advanced as you thought they were at the start of the year?
It's an interesting question. I guess we review weekly. We sometimes don't step back and have a look at the bigger picture stuff, but I've got to be careful because I don't want to. I should never say we're young. I mean we're young. We're a young team. We're inexperienced. But I'll say it again. We'll pick a 22 each week that we expect to win. So once those 22 take the field, you expect to win. And at the end of the season, we'll have a look at where we're at from a list management point of view. We'll look to strengthen our squad. We've got some exciting young players in our team who have been exposed to AFL this year, and there's some pretty good kids playing in the state league still who get their opportunity even this year, but definitely in the future. So it's an interesting point. We'll probably have to a question for the end of the season where we think our group's at and how far we are away from probably playing our best footy.
Can you tell us what your concern is with Tom Lynch at the moment? I mean, it's a pretty disturbing note that we get last night. So.
Yeah, yep. No, that's poor Tom Lynch. He's had a horrific season from an injury point of view, and a small crack in one of the bones in his neck or in his back, upper back. So we'll just have to play the waiting game. I know he's seeing a specialist on Monday or Tuesday, so we should have a clearer picture then. We'll have some more information for you. But this year he's had a broken jaw, a busted shoulder, which he did in the last NAB Cup game, and now broken neck. So, he hasn't had much luck this season.
Was it just bad luck that the break wasn't seen in Brisbane and then he travels from that, or...? Yeah,
they did they x-rayed him in Brisbane, and then he did the MRI when he returned back to Adelaide. I think, obviously I'm not the expert, but I think you have to wait for the swelling to decrease before you get a clear picture with an MRI. But don't quote me on that. I think that's something that I think you'd have to probably check with our medicos. But really sad news for Tom. Great kid, and just has had a really horrible season.
Yeah, it's just that when you hear it, I mean, I know it takes time because same happened to Simon White. It took time to see his.
Yep.
Is there a deeper thinking maybe he should stay up there until he's cleared, or...? Yeah,
probably not the question for me, Michelangelo. I think it's probably one more for our medical team. We've got a great medical team. They very rarely make a mistake, those boys. They've got so much experience. They're really good doctors, and as far as I know, that protocol was followed, and they made a good decision with that one. But that's I probably shouldn't comment on that.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you.
All right.